Hello, winners, and welcome to Two for the Win with your hosts, Nick and Wil. Have you ever wondered about the brand new Aqua ship with Norwegian? Well, if so, you are in for a treat because my co-host Nick is going to introduce some folks who just went on it to share their experience. So hold tight. But before we jump to that, please be sure you subscribe, share, and follow Two for the Win on your favorite platform. I want to give a shout out to Nick Menard and Associates with Dream Vacations for sponsoring today's episode. Thank you, Nick Menard. Let's get to it, shall we? So, Nick, why don't you introduce our guests?
Thank you so much, Will, for the introduction. And yes, that's my honor today to introduce this fantastic, amazing couple that I'm very proud to call friends as well. So welcome Suzanne and Bill to this recording of Wanderlust Wednesday. So they will introduce themselves way better than I can, but they are phenomenal business owner. They both own a very, very famous mortgage company in Southwest Florida. Yeah, you need to say it. And they both also are travel agent within our agency. So very, very happy to have them today live. I mean, not live, but recorded on the podcast. And they experienced something great last week. So they were on the first week, the inaugurational week of the Aqua, the new ship of Norwegian. And they're going to share their experience. So very excited about that. But again, introduce yourself to the audience, and then we can go from there.
Hello, I am Susan, and this is my husband, Bill. We're owners of Babcock Mortgage from here in Babcock Ranch, and we are also travel agents, like you said, and our mortgage has led us to traveling a little bit, the ability to work from home or ship. And as many of our clients know, you probably called us while we were on the Aqua. We were very busy, but we did get a chance to walk around and really take a look at this beautiful ship, which is unique. So I think it's definitely one worth checking out or at least talking about.
Yeah, and I would call on it again. It was definitely a great show.
Awesome. So, what's different? Because you guys have a lot of experience sailing, on different cruise lines and even on Norwegian before. What would you say is the big wow moment when you got in the ship and the first thing you saw on the ship that really struck your interest?
Well, to be honest, the first wow moment was a not wow moment.
Oh, really? Go ahead.
It was an unwow. So I will say that when you walk in, you're walking into the center of the ship. And as typical, you might walk into a grand area. We were in the middle, the heart of the ship, and it really wasn't, to me, as grand as their other ships have been. Their other ships really have been known to have beautiful chandeliers and multi-levels. So if you go on this ship, you're not going to get that depth, that huge crystal fanciness. It is still beautiful. It's modern. It's elegant. It's just not the typical look that Norwegians before the Prima class would have. So I would say that for me, that was a little bit interesting. But there were several other wow places, but that was the initial. So.
Yeah, because when you walk in, that's in that initial 5th, 6th, 7th floor where it's usually open and, there's some sort of grand piece that really draws your eye to. And although it was, the atmosphere and the I don't know, the style was nice. Yeah, I agreed. It wasn't like, wow, because this was our 4th Norwegian cruise that we've been on. And so all the other ones had that grandiose to that area. But then, like you said, as you explored the other areas of the ship, you realize that they really focused on those a little bit more. And, the day beds on the side of the ship with the little mini infinity pools. And, it was just all the little areas where you could find on different levels and different decks to go and to have a little private area. And, it was just really nice overall. Very, very happy.
Oh, it's awesome. I was kind of curious when, Susan, you were first talking about doing business while you're on the cruise. I imagine you're not doing like FaceTime while you guys are in the hot tub. So you're probably doing that all on
And yeah.
No, but I was on the phone right next to them. We had a cabana in the Vibe Beach Club, and the people next to us. He was also a mortgage loan officer,
Which
so
was so odd.
yeah, she was a real estate
There you
agent.
go.
It's like we were in our element there for that. But yeah, the first 2 days we were constantly on the phone. At one point, we were in the room getting changed, going to, from one section to the other, and we both had clients on the phone. She was in the bathroom on the phone with one, and I was in that room on the other. So yeah, it made it challenging, but we do what we need to do, and still find plenty of time to be able to enjoy the ship. It was really amazing.
Yeah, work hard, play hard. So there you go. You're doing both
Yeah.
things.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely. You have to do that. And the vibe was just incredible. So I've actually been on 5 Norwegian cruises, but 4 of them had the Vibe Beach Club. And we knew from the second that we went on a Norwegian cruise with the Vibe that we would not sail without the Vibe. We would literally cancel the cruise unless we had that. And
Yep.
we just feel very
We've done
strongly
it.
about that. We have. And it's because I like to have a spot where it's not, crowded. If you're at a place on the ship and you feel like it may get crowded, you can escape to your spot. And I just like having that available. So I highly recommend getting that. I mean, we stalked it for this particular cruise. And as soon as it became available, we bought it. And I think we bought it so fast, we literally got the cabana number 1. So
Nice.
on the inaugural. This is how we are as travel agents too. So if you want something, we'll stock it for you. But
That's amazing. That's why you're successful.
yes, absolutely, we work hard. So, but the cabana was great. I got to sit on there. We had our laptops. I mean, what other place could you want to work from? Or relax from?
Absolutely. So can you explain for the audience who maybe never sailed with Norwegian, when you talk about the beach club, maybe some people may not know what it is. So can you explain that part to the audience?
Yeah, the beach club is a private area that you pay for. So there are some areas that include the cabanas. There's probably like 9 of them, I'm guessing, or maybe 10, something like that. But you pay about another 100 or 150 for the cabanas. And if not, you get just the club. And just the club means comfortable seating. So, the cushions are very, very thick. Very haven-like. We actually on this particular boat, you could peek over and see the haven, and their furniture wasn't any different to me than the Vibe. And so that's the area. It's a adults only area, which in most havens you don't have the ability to have adult only. They do allow children in the haven, but the Vibe is an adult only area. So that is a little bit different. Although on this particular haven, there were 2 different floors, and the top floor did allow was only adults for this
Yeah,
particular
it was
boat.
16 and up for that.
Yeah.
So you still had some younger kids, but yeah. And the other nice thing about the Vibe is that there's a limited number of tickets they sell to there. It's a private area, so only people who have the card get in there. And if somebody accidentally walked in because the door was open, they sat down to order a drink. They're like, sorry, you're not in the Vibe. You have to, they politely escort them out and let them know that this is, private area.
The service is top notch. You sit in
Yeah.
the hot tubs, they bring you fruit and they bring you your drinks.
Skewers.
Yeah. So it's good service. Now I will say the one thing about this that I've heard people complaining about, and it didn't really bother us, especially because of where our cabana was located. But this particular Vibe was visible to the general population. So typically when we've been in a Vibe, it's been in like a hidden area where people can't really look and see. This particular one, although it's aesthetically the most pleasing and most comfortable, it's visible to the public if they're on the decks above you. So I'm not sure if they
Didn't have
did
any
that.
kids pressing their nose against the glass or anything, did you?
No. It was so the one deck above us was the bullseye bar. That's where they have the darts that you can use, and we did the dart game, and of course she kicked my butt. So yeah, it was fun. And then that's up where the glow court is as well. That's where the mini golf is. That's where all it is, towards the back side of the ship. Because in this ship, actually, the Haven typically, has a lot of front cabins, but they put them all in the back this time, and they have a beautiful sunset infinity pool as well that they have on the aft of the ship for the Haven people.
So I know you mentioned Heaven. I always try to the Haven. That's one of my French, but I know that you guys have experience with it. But again, for people who don't, that's literally like the sweet high end area on Norwegian is called the Haven, and so that's the top notch if you want something like extremely luxurious and more intimate. Even though it seems like from what I heard from you guys is that the accommodation is very similar on your side as well. So that's good to know to explain to potential client as well. Now, I know first thing you told me when I talked to you, Suzanne, upon your return, it was beautiful the pools were. Can you give a little bit more information on that?
Um, can you say that one more time? It was
How
beautiful.
beautiful the pools
How
were.
beautiful the pools were. Yeah. So the pools were beautiful. The hot tub was beautiful. I was specifically referring to in the spa area. So this
Oh, yeah, the
the
thermal spot.
yeah, so the pool itself is a very small pool. Just be aware. Probably, I would say that's one of the down points of the ship is the outdoor pool. But
The
one of the
main.
yes, but one of the highlights aesthetically, anyway, is the spa. And the spa is just it's broken up into I would say 3 major areas, and the first area is where the spas are. So the jacuzzis. So you get inside. There's like a cool pool, and then there's a warm one that has jets that you stand up against, and then there's like a lounger one. And in that room is just high walls with waters, cascading down. It's just very beautiful, very zen.
Yeah, very zen.
And it's pretty. So that's definitely something that was eye pleasing.
And of course, they had the thermal spa with the the steam room. The aromatic steam. They had 3 or 4 different types of saunas. They had a charcoal sauna. They had a salt room. They had the Finnish sauna. They had an ice room as well. You could partake in, and another section. As you continue, you walk right to the front of the ship. They had glass all in the bow there, and they had the heated loungers that you just would lay on, and it was just really nice. I actually ended up falling asleep and sleeping there for about a half hour, 45 minutes on one of those lounges. It was just felt
Or
so,
nap.
yeah. Well, my back
Very
was
stressful.
up a little bit. So we went to the steam room. I spent like 25 minutes there, went to the ice room, went to the hot, hot jacuzzi, then went to the cold plunge, back to the hot jacuzzi, ice room, steam room again, and then ice. And then I hit the bench. And then after that, I was just like, for like 20, half hours.
That's what vacation should be, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing about the spa in the front of the ship is that it had those day beds again. So most spas that I have been in Norwegian was kind of missing that. So it was really,
More
really
loungers,
comfortable.
yeah, instead
to,
of having
to
the
sit
day
there.
beds. Yeah.
Although I don't think that they picked the best location for the spa. It was right near the gym.
Well, yeah, they didn't put the gym in the best spot because the gym was right above it. So someone was dropping weights. You're like, boom. You're like, what is that? You're trying to relax. And then you realize, and you're like, okay, whatever. You didn't think of it. It wasn't the ship ripping apart, Someone dropping some weights.
It seems like you're not the only person that I spoke to since the opening week, the inauguration week. Even though the ship is beautiful, that it's very classy and everything like that, that the disposition on the ship is weird, is awkward. I know that when you go from one part to the other, when you go to eat, you need to pass through the swimming pools in order to go eat and things like that. So it seems like there was an issue in the disposition of each section in the ship, but for the rest, it seems to be pretty damn good. What would be perfect clientele for those ships? So is it good for families or more adult oriented or a mix, or what would you say this ship would be perfect for?
Well, it's funny because I said it from the start. I said, this is the best teenager ship. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's places for adults and families, right? We would be fine with it because we'd have the vibe.
Yeah.
But the teenagers, there's just a lot for them to do. And at the last day when we were leaving, we literally had 2 families come up to us and say, we had such a great time, but man, we didn't see our teenagers at all.
Yeah.
Like
The whole time.
They
And
were
when they
like,
did see him, they were like, those aren't my parents. They
yeah.
were hanging out with, so, and it really was. And, just a great trip for that. And we did see a lot of younger families too, with younger kids. And, we took our kids on Norwegian Joy for 7 days and they loved it. And we brought them on a Royal Caribbean as well. And they still talk about the counselors from the Norwegian Joy over a year ago,
Yeah, they
It's
loved,
crazy.
they
So
loved
yeah,
it.
it's really great for
Of
kids of
course,
all ages.
we went during Easter. So, and we didn't know it was during Easter, or else we would have brought our kids.
Yeah. We booked it like a year and a half ago when it first came out. We
And
weren't thinking
we
that
weren't
Easter
thinking
was
it's
going to
so
be that
late.
weekend.
I don't know. I just wasn't thinking.
Yeah, it's both of our birthday month as well. So that's why we typically go on a cruise for our birthday month.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah,
That's
so we
awesome.
celebrated Easter early, but it was filled with families. And I didn't really think that. I mean, there was sometimes it was a little crowded, but I didn't really consider it an overcrowded ship.
No.
Just like any other ship in the Prima class, this one's considered the Prima Plus class. So it, it has that awkward design. The others do too. And you just kind of, I didn't know if this one would have the awkward design because it was the first of the plus, but it does. And I didn't really understand what they meant until I went on one myself. I mean, is it going to deter me? No, you going on another one? No, but yeah, it's a little weird. You just comment. And some other cool things about the ship. They had a stand, an ice cream stand that you just go and get your stuff. Like usually it's like one little area. This was a whole stand that you could get. The food indulge. I thought that was
probably my favorite part. I was thoroughly impressed with the indulged food hall. I know. Yeah, no, the lunch and dinner. So we ate their dinner there first, and everything we got was amazing. The one part I will say they need to do a little better on is the barbecue. The barbecue really was mediocre at best. No brisket or anything like that. But that was okay. Everything else was really great. We did it there for lunch, and the lunch menu is a little different than the dinner menu because it was like garlic naan on there. They had the dinner menu, but and it's smaller plates, so you can order like 5 or 6 things and be able to get through all of it because they just bring you little small portions. You get a few taste of it, and you're like, okay, that was good. What's coming next? Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. It was great. Breakfast now, on the other hand, we were like, oh, we did dinner, we did lunch. We're like, oh, let's do breakfast. It was just buffet style. So it wasn't anything spectacular. It was just a regular breakfast buffet food that, you get in the Surfside Cafe or whatever. And so it wasn't anything special, but.
so time-wise, understand. So we went there during prime
Oh yeah, that's
peak
right.
time, and we just kind of just kept time to see what would happen. And the way they do it is that as each dish from even the different areas that you order from are ready, they just bring them. They don't wait, right? So the first dish arrived within 3 minutes of us placing the order.
So yeah, we placed the order. I started the timer. 3 minutes when it came our first. Within 22 minutes, and we each ordered 6 different things. Within 22 minutes, all 6 things had arrived at the table at stages as well.
Wow.
Yeah,
was crazy.
within 3 minutes was the first dish.
So, I mean, it's just great that you can go somewhere and not get buffet food and be out of there fast because sometimes, and maybe it's because we cruise, more than once a year. We don't really want to sit for multiple hours all the time.
Because if you go to Hudson's or you go to, any of the other dining areas, it's going to be at least 2 hours or so.
It actually wasn't that bad on this boat, though. We did time that too, and it was better than what we had seen in the past.
Yeah, well, we also went first thing when it opened.
That's true.
We made sure we ordered everything like, just bring it. Because, they'll take their time if they want you to have a good time and enjoy it. But we're like, no, we want to eat because we want to go and do what they have to offer. Because, you start eating at 6 o'clock, you're not done until 8 o'clock, and you've already missed some of the activities. They start
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, we want to see it all and do it all.
That's fantastic. And that's a good segue because I like to always talk after talking about the food section. I like to talk about
You look at me when you say that.
to finish the food section first. Did you try some specialty dining also? Or you heard people trying them and what kind of feedback it was?
Yeah, so we always do Le Bistro because it's our favorite. There really wasn't that many dining options. We did the hibachi. And it's the
there
first.
was, Onda by Scarpetto. We've eaten there before on another ship. That's delicious.
Yes, yeah.
Palomar, we heard was, from several of the other people. Palomar is excellent. That's a Mediterranean. They got the fish and scallops were really good there. And we also ate at the hibachi, but also Sukhothai, which is their new Thai restaurant. They've never offered Thai on Norwegian before. I heard great things from at least 3 or 4 different people that said Sukhothai was really good as well.
Yeah, their new restaurants were really good. What I mean is that, like La Bistro, for example, it's the same menu, right? So
Oh,
if you're on whichever Norwegian boat you are, if you go to Norwegian, you can still get the same food on this boat. They don't
Makes
change that.
sense.
Yeah.
So that part of it is not diverse. But it was the first time we did hibachi, and we had just met people on the cruise like 5 minutes before. We were literally standing in line, and we figured we could just tell we meshed with these people, and we felt that with them, and we were like, let's book this together and
Yeah,
meet
'cause
up.
we
And
only had one reservation. We were, as part of our package, and we were like, let's pay for another one because these people are so cool. Because we knew we were going to do La Bistro, so we're like, these people are really cool. Let's do it. And we had a great time. We were there for like 3 hours. It was an amazing time. We got some.
The hibachi guy, he didn't use a rubber chicken or put that egg in the chef hat, did he?
Oh yeah, no, he flipped it up.
Yeah.
And then he went to take it out, and one of the girls, it was her birthday at the table, and so like he took it out, and her daughter was like 4-year-old daughter was there, and it was like a little wind up chicken, and she was like in heaven. She just like the rest of the show, she just played the chicken. It was
That's the little things. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
A souvenir, that's experience, right? They never
yeah.
about entertainment. Any specific entertainment that you really liked or not like, maybe that was on the ship and that you maybe never experienced before?
Well, I'll take this one. So I was looking forward to the Prince experience. She's not a huge Prince fan, so wasn't, and not that I'm a super fan, but, I do appreciate his music and his, impact in the industry. But unfortunately, they did not have that performance. There were some technical issues they had to do it. We heard some rumors that someone got injured, but, there was no confirmation. We really don't know what happened, but they did not do that.
Maybe the equipment got wet from the purple rain and shorted up.
Maybe could have been,
Did you do any other one?
they really didn't have. They had onshore elements, and
which we've seen
before, from a different ship. And then they had the Rumors, which was
Fleetwood Mac, a cover band. The band from Sid Norman's came down. They did songs in there.
Now they did not have it's not huge shows like Royal has some very big shows they put on. Norwegian shows aren't, at least on this boat, there's not really many Broadway style shows, so you won't see that. But like the Sid Norman's band, for example, one time they played in the theater. They had a lot of comedy on this boat. Almost every night they all had some sort of comedy. That was good.
And Bill was the main event there.
And really what was cool too about their theater was a much different theater. So the theater had, of course, like theater style seating, but then after it was done, they take them 20 minutes. They take everything down, fold it all down, and the seats all go flat, all the handrails go in, the stairs, and then they fold it up underneath the upper level of the theater, because usually it's a 2-level theater. You can get it on the 7th and 8th floor, and then it becomes like a dance floor. And so then they have a DJ to come out, and in 20 minutes, they converted it over from a theater to a dance floor. And, people were coming down. And they encourage you to watch it and film it and, and do that. And so that was really cool about that. One of the very unique things I've never seen on a ship.
That does sound cool. Did you do the silent disco, or you had the?
They did not have it on this ship. Yeah.
They didn't have it. They did have a pretty good glow party.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That was fun. So they did that. There was a lot of people at that glow party. I was surprised.
Yeah.
So they did that. And then the aqua coaster, I mean, that's certainly something that many people enjoyed. It basically what it is it shoots you up, and so you get this bolt of energy like going up into the tunnel, but then afterwards kind of turns into like a lazy river kind of a ride.
Yeah, and it's so you get wet. Yeah, you silly sit inside the boat, and the boat shoots up the ramp because it's got water in there. So but that pushes you up there. If you get to the top, it lets you go, and then you just float gently through the tube till you get to the other end. Now, one deck below, I did the dry slide, and that was amazing. That was the drop slide, and it goes from the 18th deck down to the 7th deck. Like 11 floors. So, and yeah, you get in there and you hold on to it and it opens up and you drop down and it's pretty fast. And then it goes over the side of the ship as well. And the portion over the side of the ship is a clear tube. So you can kind of look and see like, whoa, I'm over the side of the ship. And then, then it picks up speed again. It kind of slows you down. It's because I was going so fast. I was like, I'm going to crash into the thing at the bottom.
If I do that, I fly out of this thing.
Yeah, well, when you hit that, you slow down so much because the mat, I think the material that the mat is that you lay on, slows you way down. And then you get to the other side and then it picks up again and it goes. And, I still had, plenty of space before I hit the end.
Wow.
That sounds fun.
It was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. Quick word on for the kids. You said that there's a lot of things for the kids. Maybe for families listening to us, what kind of activities or what kind of things they have? I know you probably took some pictures that we're going to put here, but any explanation of something specific that they have?
Yeah. So besides everything we talked about as far as like the aqua coaster, which would be great for kids, and the slide, there is a kids little mini park, I would say, for the very young, 2 years old, 3 years old, kind of.
It's about 5. I think Callie would have fun there, but
Maybe.
yeah, about 4 or 5. Anything over than that, no big water slides for them or anything like that, other than the aqua coaster and the dry slide.
But as far as other things they could do, they could go upstairs where the slide is, and there's a mini golf, and it's a really, really cool mini golf. And it takes you around the outside of the boat, and it has like these balls that you put down.
Yeah, they're RFID balls. So every time you hit it, it knows and it counts, and it counts for you. You can't cheat.
And that's why I want that.
I don't cheat.
I'm just
No,
saying.
Suzanne, like, I cannot cheat. Did you win, Bill or Suzanne?
No, Susan won. I was kicked for most of
You're
it.
such a gentleman. You let me win.
One at the end.
I'm usually a comeback person.
Yeah, except for when we went to the arcade, because we did check out the arcade, and it's got all the classic games as well, like Donkey Kong and Mario and
And those are free. Those games,
they're all free.
you play for
that's cool.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
It's cool. They have a Bop It game. They had the basketball game, which I kicked her butt. We had the air hockey. I kicked her butt. That night, that was my night. Like, I won everything, and then that was it. That was like that 1 hour we were in the arcade, or 2 hours. It was like my day, and then that was it. But everything else, she usually kicks my butt.
Except Bop It. No one can win at that with me.
Yeah. No, I can't.
Even when I lose, I shouldn't have lost. She got it on. I got it right, though.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
So, yeah.
There's like a little bowling alley in there.
Bowling alley.
And lots of, I thought the arcade was really cool. And just, I've been to other arcades on other ships, and this one is like a place where you'd want to go and hang out. And Bill and I, we just went there at night, after the teenagers were gone. And we just thought it was fun.
Empty,
I don't know.
We would go. They would open, till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. We'd go after everything shut down, and we'd go play some video games and whatnot. And they also had like a beer pong place. They had several shuffleboard tables. They had a regular shuffleboard board on the floor. Cornhole. They have one of those little soccer games where each person sit down on each side of the bench, and it's a clear top, and you go try to kick the ball under the seat where they're in.
Oh, there you go.
They have one of those. All free. All that stuff was free. So there was tons of fun stuff all throughout the ship to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds appealing. That definitely sounds appealing. We already almost at the end here, but I wanna ask the question that usually we'll ask at the end of each episode. So is there something that we didn't ask you that you would like to share about the experience on Aqua?
Oh gosh, I would say that one unique thing is on the outsides of the ship they have little tiny, I don't know,
There were
pools?
infinity pools on both
Infinity
sides.
pools. If you want to see, you have to get there at 5 a.m. I went there at about, I don't know, it was like 6, and they were already taken. Not because I wanted it, but because I was filming the ship. And there was already drama going on. So you got to get there early to get those spots. But they're beautiful. And you can sit there all day long, and they don't cost anything. Thought that was, pretty interesting thing. But all in all, I do feel that any cruise is what you make of it and your attitude towards it. While we observe things that are different or may not be our preference, it's still an amazing time and still an amazing boat, and they're all going to have their ups and downs.
A bad day cruising is still better than a good day at work.
Cheers to
Well,
that.
especially if you're working on it.
Yeah, it's even better because I got to have amazing view. So even when when I finish getting off the phone, I'm like, I'm in the middle of the ocean. Yes, I'll take another margarita.
That's the cruising lifestyle.
And then, where's my title policy? No.
Approved.
Yeah.
You're good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so very much, guys, for your time and for sharing your experience on this. I really, really appreciate it. Again, in the description, I will put the information of Suzanne and Bill in case you have any interest to work with them on your next vacation. We are a team. So there's no jealousy here. You go with who you feel most comfortable with. And they will also put the link for their mortgage business. So in case you are willing to refinance or you are willing to, you're buying a property, you can contact them and they will take great care of you. I use them for my own. So I know that they are fantastic to work with and very honest, which is
Do a cash out refi and buy a vacation through Bill.
Yeah, and we got a great one for you in Africa.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Yeah.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate you guys. It was great. Thank you. Have a good
Absolutely. Thank you for having
Thank you
us.
so much. Thank you.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
All right, winners. Well, I hope you took away as much as I did, if not more, about what an amazing ship the new Aqua is for Norwegian. Big shout out to Bill and Suzanne Egan. Thank you for joining and sharing your experience with our listeners today. Be fantastic. So that'll wrap up today's episode. Please be sure to subscribe, share, and follow Two for the Win on your favorite platform. And thank you again to Nick Menard and Associates with Dream Vacations for sponsoring today's episode. We shall see you next week. Winners, take care.